The crate door opened with a slow creak, like a jaw coming unhinged. I expected the sound of claws scrambling, the rush of a tail thudding against the sides in excitement, but there was nothing. Just silence. And a note taped to the back wall where he should have been breathing. It fluttered once when I cracked the window, a mocking gesture carried on the breeze. 3 words written hastily slanted. He's not yours. My chest seized, lungs locked tight, as if the air itself had turned to iron. The house felt heavier, unnaturally still. The kind of stillness you only notice after something living has been taken away. His leash still hung where it always did. His bowl sat untouched. His scent already beginning to fade. It didn't start with the dog. It started with the nephew. A year of weekends spent shaping my life around a child that wasn't mine. Early mornings, sleepless nights, formula stains, crayon marks smeared across the walls. His tiny hand curled into mine, trusting me without question. I didn't ask for thanks. I didn't need recognition. I believed we were building something. A family, however crooked the lines. All I asked in return once was simple. One weekend could she feed him? Just feed the dog while I was away. She laughed like I'd asked her to carry a coffin, dismissing me with, "I'm not your assistant." My wife stood nearby, arms folded, eyes dim with something between irritation and indifference. "You can't expect people to owe you," she said, as if love was a debt I'd foolishly imagined. That night the silence between us thickened, not soothing, not forgiving, just tight and heavy, a noose made of quiet. When I came home and turned the lock, I already knew. Some losses announce themselves before you see them. The toy he always chewed was still under the couch. The scratched patch of wood near the back door still marked his spot. But he was gone. The night before, he had curled against my legs, warm and steady, silent devotion radiating from him in the way only dogs know how to give. And the next morning only the note remained. "He's not yours. Not mine because I hadn't bred him on paper. Not mine because I hadn't purchased him from a catalog of pedigrees. Not mine because love freely given counts for nothing in some people's eyes." I stood in the kitchen staring at a mug of coffee gone cold. She leaned against the counter scrolling her phone. When it buzzed she smiled, but not at me. She hadn't asked about him, hadn't searched, hadn't even asked if I was okay. Her words were cold as glass. "Maybe it's for the best. You were getting too attached." As if love were some disease. I remembered the day I found him at the shelter. Rows of metal cages, eyes dull and desperate. He was the only one who didn't bark. He just watched me, steady and silent, like he already knew we belonged together. That first night he trembled beside me, uncertain but hopeful. And he stayed. Through the arguments, the cold mornings, the slammed doors, he stayed. He waited outside my nephew's bedroom door every weekend, guarding without being asked, loyal to the bone. I searched for him. Posters stapled to poles. Shelters called. Streets driven over and over. Nothing. No chip scans, no calls, no body. Just absence. Every time I brought him up, she grew colder, her eyes glacier. "It's just a dog," she said, impatient. No, he wasn't just a dog. He was the dog. The one who sat beside me while I came apart and never turned away. The one who knew the outline of my grief before I did. I kept the note. I studied it until I memorized the curves of every letter. It wasn't her handwriting, but I knew her presence in it. She didn't need to write the words for them to belong to her. She only needed to want them to hurt. Weeks crawled by. Nothing changed except the house itself seemed to breathe against me. Not with comfort but with judgment. She asked if I was ever going to let it go. I didn't answer. One morning I opened the closet where we stored photo albums. The ones with him were gone. Only the nephew's pictures remained, preserved and smiling. It wasn't just about the dog anymore. It was about erasure. Control. A slow, quiet effort to dismantle the pieces of me that didn't fit into her design. She called it balance. I called it decay. 3 months later an email arrived. No sender, only coordinates in the subject line. Attached was a photo. Blurry, grainy, but I knew that face. Those eyes. He was lying across a stranger's lap. Not chained, not thin, but not with me. I stared until my vision blurred. Not from tears, I'd already spent them, but from the hollow ache they left behind. He was alive. Safe. That mattered. But it didn't heal me. Now I live alone. She kept the house, the furniture, the friends. I kept the leash and the note. Some nights I unfolded again. 3 words still sharp as glass. He's not yours. Maybe he never was. Maybe nothing ever really is. But I know this, he stayed until someone forced him out. And that matters more than ownership, more than bloodlines, more than papers stamped with authority. I babysat a child for a year. No pay, no gratitude, no recognition. The one time I asked for something back, the moment I dared to need, they stole the only being that never asked me to prove my worth. That's when I learned. Love without boundaries is easy to take. But respect, that's what you fight for. Even if all that remains is a leash, a note, and the echo of pause I never got to say goodbye to.